Hello everyone. Today we will see the new point from the nuclear reactors. The typical reactions which are involved in the preparation of the radioisotopes. So the radioisotopes like tritium, carbon 14, sodium 22 and sodium 24, then phosphorus 32, sulfur 35, technetium 99M and iodine 131. So now in today's lecture we will see the reactions involved in the preparation of these radioisotopes. So let's start with the first isotope. So first isotope is a tritium, or it is also called as a H3. So its decay time is given 12.33 years and the reaction is tritium plus helium nuclei with 3 atomic mass plus beta plus neutrino. Here tritium is formed continuously in the nature by the interaction of the fast neutrons of cosmic origin, and the neutron flux is around 2.6 n per centimeter square per second with the nitrogen of the atmosphere. So this H3 or the tritium that will be continually formed in the nature by interaction of the fast neutrons of cosmic origin with the nitrogen of the atmosphere. So the reaction is given here for the formation of the tritium. Nitrogen 14 plus there is a interaction of that nitrogen with the neutrons, there is a formation of the hydrogen, and this hydrogen with the atomic mass 3, it is called as a tritium, plus carbon 12. So simply this reaction occurs in the nature in the continuous way. Then we will see the tritium also forms the HT. When tritium interacts with the hydrogen, there is a formation of HT, and that HT will get oxidized into the tritiated water, that is HTO. Instead of H2O, what will be formed? HTO. Then the ratio of T by H, or the tritium to the hydrogen, that ratio observed 10 raised to minus 18, and this is also called as the equilibrium ratio of the tritium to the hydrogen. And again the tritium is formed with another reaction. Here is a reaction lithium 6, when undergoes here an alpha reaction, there is a formation of a tritium, and the overall yield of the tritium tagged molecule is very high. It is around 10 raised to 10 to 50%. Then we will see the next isotope. Next isotope is a carbon 14. So as we know in the nature, the carbon 12 and carbon 14, these two isotopes are present, and the original molecule is a carbon 12 and its isotope is a carbon 14. So carbon 14's decay is as carbon 14, it will undergo the beta minus decay, and there is a formation of a nitrogen 14. So carbon 14 gives nitrogen 14 plus beta minus plus neutrino, and its half life is 5730 years, and the large amounts of that carbon 14 are formed continuously in the nature by an alternative reaction or the interaction of the fast neutrons of cosmic origin with the atmospheric nitrogen. Means what? Same way as the tritium is formed by the interaction of the fast neutrons from the cosmic origin with the nitrogen of the atmosphere. Same way here is also interaction of that fast neutrons with the atmospheric nitrogen. So here we will see the NP reaction, that is a nitrogen 14 from the atmosphere. It interacts with the fast neutrons from the cosmic origin, and there is a formation of the carbon 14 plus proton. So this is a NP reaction by which the carbon 14 is generated, and within a minute or hours the carbon 14 will get converted to the carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide where the carbon is 14. So the carbon is to 14 divided by carbon is to 12 ratio in any living plant or animal, it is a equilibrium mass ratio, and which is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 12, yielding 15.8 plus minus 0.3 disintegrations per minute per gram. So in the living organisms or in the plants or animals, the ratio of the carbon 14 to the carbon 12, it is nearly equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 12. And how much disintegrations will occur in 1 minute for 1 gram of the sample? Around 15.8 plus minus 0.3 disintegrations. So this is the reaction of the carbon. So we will see the next element or the isotope. It is a sodium 22 and the sodium 24. So its tau is given, it is a 2.6 years, and the decay reaction is given. Sodium 22 undergoes the beta plus reaction, and here is a formation of a neon 22. And the sodium 22 is a cyclotron or a similar accelerator product obtained by bombarding the magnesium with 8.5 mega electron volt deuterans by the reaction magnesium 24 D alpha sodium 22. Means what? The sodium is generated like a cyclotron or a similar accelerator product. So this is obtained by this reaction. When magnesium will undergo the D alpha reaction, there is a formation of a sodium 22. And the irradiated magnesium is dissolved in the dilute HCl and solution electrolyzed at 12 volt between a platinum anode and the revolving mercury cathode. So this is shown in this diagram. You can see here. As I have told, this is a reaction D alpha where magnesium will undergo D alpha reaction to form the sodium 22. So here you can see that solution of irradiated magnesium in the HCl. So the irradiated magnesium is dissolved in the dilute HCl and the solution electrolyzed at the 12 volt. Here is a positive electrode and here is a negative electrode, and there is a potential difference between two electrodes is a 12 volt. So this 12 volt potential difference is in between the platinum anode and the revolving mercury cathode, as shown in this figure, and the sodium 22 goes to the mercury. So the magnesium, when dissolved in the HCl, there is a formation of the sodium 22 after D alpha reaction. So simply this sodium 22 which is formed, it goes to the mercury, that is a cathode, and the amalgam form can be subsequently decomposed to yield the NaOH solution, and that NaOH solution will contain sodium in the form of a 22. So by this way the sodium 22 can be separated by the electrolysis of a solution in HCl of magnesium which was subjected to the D alpha reaction. Then the sodium 24 is also generated. Here tau is given 15.02 hours for the sodium 24, and the decay reaction is given sodium 24, it undergoes the beta minus decay. After that there is a formation of the magnesium 24, and this is obtainable by Young gamma reaction on any sodium compound. So this is all about the sodium 22 and 24. Then we will see the next isotope, that is a phosphorus, and phosphorus is a 32. So a tau is given 14.28 days and the decay reaction is given when the phosphorus 32 undergoes the beta minus decay, there is a formation of the sulfur 32. And here the modes of the reactions are two. First one is a N-gamma reaction and second one is a N-P reaction. So we will first consider the N-gamma reaction. So N-gamma reaction on ordinary red phosphorus. And as we know, the phosphorus or the red phosphorus abundance is nearly equal to 100%. And this is less expensive, but the product would be of a low specific activity. The radiophosphorus is converted into any of the several reactive species like P2O5, PCl3, PCl5, POCl3 or the PSCl3. So by N-gamma reaction we can produce the phosphorus 32, and this method is less expensive, but the product which is formed, it is also of a less activity. So that we have to perform the NP reaction. So this is the diagram for the NP reaction. So we will see first what is the NP reaction for the production of the phosphorus 32. So by NP reaction on sulfur 32, the product through carrier free is mixed with the phosphorus 33. And the tau of the phosphorus 33 is around 25 days. And this phosphorus 33 is formed from the sulfur 33. And the sulfur 33 abundance is very less, it is around 0.75%. Where high specific activity is needed, this procedure is adopted. As we know, in the N-gamma reaction, the product which is formed is of a low specific activity. So by NP reaction, we have to obtain a product with high specific activity. The unreacted sulfur is sublimed off at 600 degree Celsius. So the sulfur which is not reacted, that will be sublimed at 600 degree Celsius, and the residue extracted in an acidic medium. So small amounts of the phosphorus 32 have been collected on the charge plates immersed in CS2 under neutron irradiation. On the addition of hydrogen peroxide, the phosphorus 32 is oxidized to the orthophosphate form. So you can see that this is in the diagram. So here in this conical flask, the CS2 solution is taken. So this CS2 solution, here the reaction occurs, the sulfur 32 which undergoes NP reaction, and there is a formation of the phosphorus 32. So as we want the high specific activity containing product, initially we have to sublime the unreacted sulfur at the 600 degrees Celsius, and the residue which is remain, that will be extracted in a acidic medium, and the small amount of that phosphorus 32 that will be collected on the charge plates that are immersed in this CS2 solution under the neutron irradiation. So here is a CS2 solution, and here are the charge plates which are immersed in the CS2 solution, and here is a continuously neutron bombardment. So here is a neutron source Ra plus Be. So this emits continuously neutrons, and that neutrons will be bombarded on this charge plate continuously. So on the addition of the hydrogen peroxide, the phosphorus 32 is oxidized to the orthophosphate form. When we add the H2O2 in the solution of the CS2, there is a oxidation of the phosphorus 32 into the orthophosphate form will occurs. So by this way, formation of the phosphorus 32 will occur, and the formed phosphorus, this phosphorus 32, that will be collected on these charge plates. Now we will see the next isotope, that is a sulfur 35. Here tau of the sulfur 35 isotope is given. It is 87.5 days. And the decay reaction is given. So that sulfur 35 will undergo the beta minus decay. And due to beta minus decay from the sulfur 35, there is a formation of the chlorine 35. So this is the decay reaction of the sulfur 35. So how that sulfur 35 will be produced? So chlorine 35 when undergoes NP reaction, there is a formation of a sulfur 35. So the NaCl is allowed to stand for about a week when the sodium 24, that is a tau, is 15 hours, and the chlorine 38, that is a tau, is equal to 37.5 minutes, 37 minutes, decays completely. So this is shown in the diagram. We will see it easily from the diagram. So you can see this diagram. So we have to prepare the sulfur 35 and the reaction is given, the chlorine 35 which undergoes NP reaction, and there is a formation of the sulfur 35. So initially we have to construct a diagram like this, or we have to set up a reactor like this for the production of the sulfur 35. So the sulfur 35 is readily extracted in the form of carrier free H2SO4, where the sulfur is 35. So the irradiated sodium chloride is allowed to stand for about a week when the sodium 24 and the chlorine 38 decay completely. So in this platinum boat, you can see this is a platinum boat with the irradiated NaCl. So initially we have to take the NaCl where Na is a 24 and the chlorine is a 38. So that sodium chloride is kept there for a week. After that, this sodium 24 and the chlorine 38 will decay completely, and there is a formation of the long lived isotopes like the chlorine 36 and the phosphorus 32, and it is then after decomposition of that NaCl, Na24 and the chlorine 38, we have to apply the heat. So heat is provided to this boat. So when the heat is provided to that platinum boat, the slow current of pure dry hydrogen gas that will be passed over the platinum boat, and the exit gas is made bubbled into the Br2 water, that is a bromine water. When the reaction occurs, sulfur 35 and there is irradiation of the H2, that is a pure dry H2 gas is passed over the platinum boat. After that there is a formation of H2S, and here H2S in which S is a 35. After that when we bubble this prepared sulfur into the Br2 water, there is a formation of H2SO4, and in this sulfur is a 35. So alternatively the H2S is fixed as a thiourea by making it react with the cyanamide. So the final reaction is H2S plus NH2CN. It gives Cs, where S is a here you can see that sulfur 35 NH2 twice. So this is the product. Cs NH2 twice, and S is a sulfur 35. So simply here the separation of the sulfur 35 from the neutron irradiated sodium chloride that will be done. After that, we will see the next isotope, that is a technetium 99M. So that technetium 99 that will be generated from a cow and milk system. So that is prepared from the molybdenum 99. So you can see here its tau is 6 hours and the decay reaction is given technetium 99M. M shows the metastable state or the isotope with the higher energy. So when it will undergo the chain reaction, there is a formation of, after 6 hours, from 99M technetium, there is a formation of again the technetium 99M, means its energy is simply higher again. So again it will undergo the beta minus decay in time 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 years. It will forms Ru99. So this is the reaction or decay reaction of the technetium. So how that will be produced initially? So from the cow and milk system, technetium 99M is generated. So I have written here the reaction. Molybdenum 99, it gives technetium 99M. So after beta minus decay, molybdenum gives the technetium 99M. Then after 6 hours, the 99M technetium undergo the reaction and it will form the technetium 99. Means it will come to the ground state and then there is a beta minus decay. After 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 years, it will forms the Ru. So that Ru99, that species is a stable species. Then we will see the last isotope, that is iodine 131. So its tau is given 8.04 days and its decay reaction is iodine 131. When undergoes beta minus decay, there is a formation of a xenon 131. And again this iodine 131 that will be produced from the Te, that is Te133. When undergo N-gamma reaction, there is a formation of iodine 131. So again here is one reaction which I have written. So when T131 form decays with a half-life of 25 minutes into iodine 131, that is very short-lived. Radioiodine is generally prepared only when it is needed and it is marketed as a carrier-free solution of sodium iodide in the sodium sulfite and its pH is around 8. And the radioiodine is easily converted into iodine monochloride by treatment with the potassium iodide and the hydrochloric acid. So the reaction is given here, twice iodine 131 plus IO3 minus plus 6 HCl. There is a formation of thrice ICl where iodine is 131 plus thrice Cl minus plus thrice water molecules. So the carbon tetrachloride extract of the iodine 131 is a convenient labeled iodinating agent.